So very recently, Valve pushed out an update to Counter-Strike 2 that basically crashed the economy. Over $3 billion was wiped away from CS2's market cap, and traders are in shambles right now trying to cash out as fast as they can so they don't lose any more money. Thousands of people who have invested in CS2 skins have been affected by this in the most negative ways possible. It's been a nightmare for the past couple of days for CS2 traders. Now, you guys may be wondering, what does this have to do with TF2? Well, TF2 and CS2's economy work in very similar ways, and even with the TF2 market cap being much smaller than Counter-Strike's, the TF2 economy is overall pretty healthy, with keys and metal being the main form of currency for the past 15 years now. But the TF2 economy has had its fair share of economy crashes, so in lieu of the most recent CS2 economy crash, I decided to research some notable times the TF2 economy crashed, which I'm going to share with you all right now. So, let's get started. I know you guys are yelling at me through the screen right now to talk about the Great Depression of 2019, so let's get that out of the way right now. The Great Depression was a bug that was introduced in the game in the summer 2019 update, where some older crates had a 100% unusual drop chance, which led to thousands of unusuals being opened in the span of 36 hours. These hats ranged from crappy Generation 3 hats to old school god tier hats, even a Burning Flames team captain being unboxed during this time frame. The amount of glitched unusuals that were unboxed in that one day was about a month's worth of legal unusuals, and for about 2 days the unusual market completely tanked. God tier unusuals were being dumped onto the Steam market for just a few dollars, and it seemed like that the economy was ruined, until Valve introduced their solution to fix the economy. If you unboxed multiple unusual hats during the bug's duration, the first one you opened was made tradable, and all the other ones would have a permanent trade lock on them. This meant that over 90% of these hats that were open now had a permanent trade lock on them, which meant they no longer had any value in the economy, which caused unusual hat prices to stabilize again. So the economy crashed, but only for a short period of time before things became stable again. Now we're going to get into some events that not only crashed prices, but left permanent damage on the economy. Starting off with Unusualifiers were added in 2016 with the Scream Fortress 8 event, and as per usual during the Halloween season, Valve added cosmetics and unusual effects for hats and taunts. Now, prior to this event, unusual taunts were quite rare and sought after, with the only way for them to be obtained being through crates. Some of these taunts were so sought after that people have gone on record to pay golden pans for unusual taunts back in the day. For context, a golden pan is probably back then was worth around 2,000 keys. Now, these unusualifiers made it so that you didn't have to open crates to get the new effects. Rather, unusualifiers dropped as a bonus item in cases so that you can just apply it to your existing unique taunts. And it was pretty cool. The first series of taunt effects after the addition of unusualifiers are now some of the most sought after taunts in the game. But what happened after the Halloween event ended? Well, once the event ended, you were then able to, 1, still unbox unusualifiers all year round, and 2, you were able to use unusualifiers all year round to produce the normal generation of effects that were previously only obtained through taunt cases, and this completely tanked unusual taunt prices. For example, a 72 conga back then, before unusualifiers were added, would run you 300 keys, or about $500. Nowadays, they're worth 27 keys. A Holy Grail Rancho Relaxo used to cost 175 keys, now they're worth 13, and a Holy Grail used to cost you over 200 keys, now only being worth 19. I actually made a whole separate video a few years back as to why unusual taunts became so cheap, so if you guys want to watch it, I'll put it on the screen right now and I'll link it in the description. But all in all, unusual taunts with these original effects never recovered from their price crashes, and to this day, taunts considered god tier unusuals back then are now considered chump change to traders in 2025. In the Meet Your Match update in 2016, Valve added casual and competitive matchmaking. I do have words to say about casual matchmaking, not very good words, but more importantly, Valve added in the unlocked cosmetic crates for all 9 classes and one additional crate called the unlocked multi-class crate. Now all these crates are purchasable from the Manco store for $2.49. These boxes give the opportunity to drop old school hats, strange cosmetics, and unusual hats. Now, this doesn't seem like a big deal at first until you look at the multi-class crates and realize that God tier all-class hats can now be unboxed again with Series 1 unusual effects. Before, they were only obtainable through crate series 1 through 25, which have a very limited supply, but these boxes have an infinite supply, and lots of God tier unusual hats crash in price. Most notably, the Scorching Flames Killer exclusive, one of the most elite hats in the entire game, priced at 2,650 keys back in the day, went down to 350 keys. An 87% drop of its former price. Some more examples: a Burning Flames Hong Kong cone used to be worth over 2,000 keys, now down to 600 keys, nearly a 75% drop, and a Sunbeam's Crone's Dome, which also was priced at 2,000 keys, now selling at 500 keys. All other class exclusive cosmetics also took a big hit in their unusual values, but none as big as the all-class hat market. In my opinion, the multi-class crate update is the most similar to CS2's most recent crash because so many God tier unusuals tanked and never fully recovered, and trader mains inventories went down in value by the tens of thousands. The last real crash before I close off this video is pretty niche in my opinion, but back when spells became obtainable again in 2014, people started buying them in mass. The reason people did this was because after the last Halloween event, all unapplied spell potions were erased from players' backpacks. So in 2014, when they came back for a second and final time, people started buying them up for some reason. And then after the event, they all went away again. I wouldn't even call this an economy crash because that's just dumb people that can't use context clues doing dumb things with their money, but lots of money was lost as a result of this. Now, there was an exploit which allowed the spells to not be deleted. Those are called post-life spells, which also became pretty sought-after collector's items. But after the Tough Break update the following year, those became trade-locked. So now unapplied spells now have no value, and lots of people lost money buying into spells. And to this day, the spell economy is weird. Whales mainly run the spell economy, which means you're not getting good deals on any spelled items, so it's best not to even bother trading for spells, unless you get a really good deal, of course. But again, it's another incident in TF2's history where players lost loads of money. Now, the TF2 economy is always fluctuating. First thing I look at when I view the TF2 economy is keys and metal and how they're always rising and falling in value. One day a key is worth 70 refined and then the next day it's worth 40. And that's just how markets work, supply and demand. But these incidents mark significant times in TF2's economy where major losses occurred for trader mains and collectors alike. And with this recent CS2 crash, it has players asking questions. What does this mean for TF2? Well, in all honesty, not much. TF2's market cap is a lot smaller than CS2's, around 400 million versus 4 billion. But either way, it goes to show at any time, Valve could just push a button and millions can disappear. We've seen it before, and it's more than possible that it can happen again. And that's going to be it for the video. If you guys enjoyed the video, learned something new, feel free to subscribe. I make videos about TF2 pretty often, so if you guys want to see more from me, feel free to subscribe, leave a comment, drop a like. It all really helps. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It genuinely means the world to me. I got more stuff in the works. Very excited to show you what I got in store. And have a great rest of your day. God bless you all. Stay safe, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out, guys.